Have you ever sat down on Erev Shabbat? You finally got everything done. You've carved out this time intentionally, and suddenly you feel really uncomfortable. Like slowing down feels suspicious, and being calm just feels totally wrong. If you've ever had that moment, this video is for you. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Sivi. I help Jewish women enjoy more clarity and calm through intentional living. This video is part of a series called The 5 Sneaky Moves of the Erev Shabbat Yetzer Hara, where we get to know the subtle ways that calm gets undermined, especially when you're working really hard to create it. So today we're talking about the sneaky move number 4, which I call the Erev Shabbat hustle voice. Each sneaky move builds on the one before it. This 4th sneaky move shows up after you have already done a really lot of work. You've already learned to handle doing one more thing, perfectionism, panic, the fear of open spaces. If you want to get the full arc and learn each sneaky move in order as they build one upon the other, I suggest you watch the entire playlist from the beginning. Everything is linked below, and either here or here, I will also link to the playlist. Each sneaky move has a free workbook that goes with it and a very short meditation to help you really get into it. Okay, so now into the hustle voice. What is the hustle voice? The hustle voice does not show up until you are actually ready. When you're still doing the cooking and the cleaning and the preparations, the hustle voice is not there because you're running around. You're already hustling. That is the appropriate time to hustle, to get moving, to get yourself going, to use that adrenaline and get everything ready for Shabbat. This voice shows up later, after you've intentionally carved out space. You've said, no, I am not going to do one more thing. You've planned some activity for yourself and you're ready to go. I'm going to rest. I'm going to nourish myself now. This is the time I have created. And then suddenly, when you actually try to do it, like you're there. Like maybe you lay down for a little nap, or you decided to take an extra long shower, or you've sat down and opened a Sefer of Tehillim, or you've started to take yourself out for a walk or an art project. Like you are there. You have made this time. You're there. And then suddenly there's this voice. It can be very, very quiet and sneaky, but very persistent. And it says something like, this is not the real way to do Shabbat. Or if you were a better person, you would be doing something else. Or there must be many more important things that you should be doing right now. Or everybody else, look, my neighbor here, she's baking a cake. She's, doing blah, 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 blah. Something more important. Whatever you're doing just feels wrong. It's a feeling. It's very hard to even get to the point where you hear what the words are saying. The feeling is so heavy that we don't even usually get past it and hear the words. The hustle voice isn't about productivity. It's actually about identity. For many of us, being busy and moving became part of what it means to be responsible or committed or like a good girl. So when the movement stops, our nervous system does not read it as peace. Like we've carved out this time. We've created a peaceful situation, but our nervous system does not read this stopping as peace. It reads it as danger because it's so different from what we've been taught in our programming throughout our life to associate with being, quote unquote, good. It's not because something's wrong. It's because this calm, especially at this time, feels very unfamiliar. Over time, our system learns very specific associations, like busyness equals seriousness, and pressure equals devotion. You're so devoted. If you're exhausted, it means that you have put meaning into your Erev Shabbat preparations and you've like given Mesirat Nefesh, you've given of yourself. Our stress hormones get mixed up with the praise for the productivity that has actually like trained our brains to associate rushing with our self-worth. So when you try to relax, even into doing something like Tehillim or, just something like very holy or very nourishing, right? Our subconscious can completely push us back. It's not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to get you into what feels familiar. Because again, to our subconscious, anything new feels dangerous. Anything uncomfortable but familiar feels safer than something comfortable that's new. New equals danger. So this new feeling of calm literally can feel like danger. And that voice is trying to get us to get moving and keep hustling and just find something else to fill that time with. So here is where it gets really, really painful though, because on the one hand, you really want a calm, grounded Erev Shabbat. You want to come into Shabbat, peaceful and excited and well-rested, presence, warmth, space to breathe, all the good things. But when you try to create it, your subconscious is judging yourself for it. So now this calm feels wrong. But the busyness feels wrong too. And when there's a tension, the tension between those two things is enough to pull you back into motion, to get you hustling again. Because again, that's what feels most familiar. So you get caught between like a rock and a hard place, as they say. When you get to this moment, this is where we do the reframe. Choosing to be calm here after you've done your preparations and everything and you've carved out the time, it's actually really chutzpadik. It's counter-cultural. Our culture, we are used to that rushed, busy, Erev Shabbat, cram it in, one more thing, everything kind of going crazy. Every children's book, every story is about, that it's like a stereotype already. That's what we are used to. So choosing calm and learning how to become calm and how to come into Erev Shabbat as a Bat Melech. It is so chutzpadik. It is literally countercultural. I have never thought of myself as, like countercultural, but it really is. You need to trust that devotion does not need to be proven through pressure. And you can still be sincere even without being depleted and exhausted. That you are worthy even when you are not exhausted. Could you imagine coming into Shabbat and knowing that you are 100% worthy and amazing and wonderful and a Bat Melech, a daughter of Hashem, and not being exhausted? We associate the two. How many people light their Shabbos candles and then completely collapse with exhaustion? That's what we're so used to. So I want you to know this is not small work. I mean, this is literally rewriting your operating system. It is deep inner work. It takes time. You are reshaping how your nervous system understands goodness and self-worth and how you respond to things. This is something I'm still working on. I sometimes fall into these traps. Much better. This is, mostly behind me, but it can happen every so often. Again, still, and I've been working on this for a few years. So that's why we're here to support one another and change the status quo together. Now, our goal is not to get rid of the hustle voice, not in the beginning. The voice has been built up over years. And just because you notice it does not mean that it's going to disappear. As I said, I've been working on this for years now. And it's rarely there, but sometimes it will still pop up. Like you can't fight, fire with fire. You just need to recognize it in the beginning. That's the first step. Instead of just feeling icky and moving and hustling, starting to recognize what you're hearing. What are the words that you're hearing? What is that voice saying? And then saying to yourself, oh, okay, this again. This is a hustle voice. I get it. And then instead of jumping up, eventually, the first few times you may still jump up, but eventually, instead of jumping up and hustling and getting right back into it, you will be able to stay where you are. You may be uncomfortable at first. Again, it is a process, but that pausing is absolutely everything. Because in the first moment, when you're not being run by these old rules, you are consciously making a choice instead. You're not just robotically following this feeling and this voice. You are consciously changing the script. And by consciously changing the script, it absolutely changes everything. I mean, this is miraculous, like geula work. I mean, this is really, really big stuff that we're doing here. What's really cool also is that this calm, it's not fragile. You've actually earned this. You've gotten ready for Shabbat. You've battled off all these different Yetzer. You have earned this time for this calm and this space. Because you've earned it, you can soak into that feeling. As soon as you get through that Yetzer, you get through that hustle voice, step into that moment of a calm, and you realize nothing bad happens. This is new. It feels a little bit uncomfortable. I feel a little bit unsafe in the beginning, but I have earned this. Take some breaths and sit into it. I have a meditation that will help you and guide you through this. And I have a workbook that has different exercises that you work through so you can identify your own hustle voice. Those will definitely help you, because recognizing it and not listening to it, there's a little bit of a leap there. So the meditation and the free workbook, they're all linked everywhere below. And if I can also get at least the meditation linked here on screen, it will be here. Those things will definitely help you and give you a little bit more room to breathe and be present and arrive and get into that Erev Shabbat feeling in a more familiar way. Each time you do it, it becomes more and more familiar. You feel more grounded. You feel more satisfied. The longer that you stay in this feeling, it feels more satisfying. The more you practice it, that becomes eventually the new familiar. And then you won't get fooled as often, because the hustle voice will actually feel very weird. You'll be able to recognize it very, very quickly and not get caught in it. Not nearly as often as before. Very, very rarely, honestly. I would absolutely love to hear from you when you try to slow down, when you finally get everything done and you try to slow down on Erev Shabbat. What does the hustle voice say to you? I would love to hear what your hustle voice says. Just by naming it out loud, I remember when I started working on listening to these like little Yetzer voices and writing them down. I was actually writing down what the voices told me. Not like I'm hearing voices, but like these subconscious thoughts. They say things. And I started writing them down, like one a day. And I literally heard the voice say to me one day, "Oh my gosh, you're actually listening to me." And that was a very big turning point, because these voices became a lot quieter. It didn't need to be nudging me and, yelling at me as often, because I was listening. So it could say, "Hey, Yada, you need to get moving." And then I can say, "Oh, I recognize you. Okay, no, we've actually finished. We've checked off everything. We checked the list. We're good. We've created this activity. This is what we're doing. And then it would be like, oh, okay, let's do that. Are you sure? Are you sure that you finished? And I'm like, yeah, no, I checked the list. Like we have these little conversations, which is totally different than just robotically following the feeling, which is what we all do if we're not actively working on it, right? So naming it out loud is completely part of the shift. It is probably the most important part of the shift. If you got something out of this video, I would love it if you would give it a like and subscribe, a comment, share it with a friend that if you think it could benefit them, that would be amazing. And remember that Hashem loves you more than you can ever imagine. He wants you to have an amazing day today and every day. Goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next video.